thought I'd get two decks out of the way today. One, a very good deck, and one, not so very good deck. And I'll take you through it. So, the first deck, which I love, is the English Tarot deck by Maggie Kneen, and it's by US Games, and it's still in print, and it's a very good deck. The artwork is lovely, it's soft, it's beautiful, it's got a lot going on. And then the other deck I'll talk about is the English Magic Tarot, which comes in a kit, a book, and it's a cardboard case, and it comes in a box, 78 cards, nothing too fancy. And since I really don't care for this deck, I'll talk about it first. So what do you get? You get the box and this booklet, which is substantial. I mean, it's 150 some pages. It talks about the cards, and it tries to be something that's, I don't know, it's just very, I don't even know why you would call this a tarot deck. It's pretty loose. But this is by Wiser Books, and it is still in print, and you can buy it for fairly cheap. I've seen it as low as $12, and for a tarot deck, that's usually unheard of for something fancy. So the English Magic Tarot, and since these are both dealing with English, I thought, why not do them at the same time? I'm going to breeze through this one because, well, I don't really care for it. So English Magic Tarot deck, you get these two cards. It's copyright 2015 by Rex Van Ryn, Andy Lecter, and Steve Dooley. And looking at the back card, it looks it almost reminds me of The Walking Dead, the way it's drawn, the back is. It's not terribly reversible because you have the blue and the red, and the way the cards feel, they feel like they're slicker on the front, and on the reverse they're a little rough. If you look at the edges, there's like almost a lip on the edge, and if you look at this card, this is a perfect example. The picture's not even centered. The way it's cut is sort of off. So that gives you an idea of the quality. In the box, you have this lovely, flimsy piece that is supposed to look like some piece of parchment. And then we have the deck itself. So let's go through the deck fairly quickly because there's not much to talk about. So we have the Hanged Man. Notice the artwork is kind of muted. We have Stonehenge in the background, and yeah, it's not much happening. Justice. This is a perfect example of what the hell. What is that? What is it's not even going off. It's not cut. I guess there was no bleed, or I mean, there obviously was because that's cut off, but it's like it's almost not finished. And something about the major arcana is one letter is usually in a light gray. I'm not sure what the significance of that is, but Four of Wands. It's a lovely card. The borders are hard and coarse, and yeah, really bold. I mean, there's a graphic novel quality to the deck itself. And there's some of them have writing in them, which I'm not sure what it is. But the deck absolutely does not connect to me at all. In fact, I bought this deck thinking it was the old English Tarot, which is what I'll talk about next. So, sometimes you think, oh, I remember that, I want to buy that deck, and then you hastily buy the wrong deck, and this is what happened with this one. So, Not only did I was like, wow, it's pretty cheap. It's not the deck I wanted, and it's just not for me. Maybe it's for someone, but it's not for me. So the borders are way too big. The cardstock is it's okay. I mean, there's some flexibility. The edges are fine and smooth. I don't know if it's the fault of the publisher or the authors, but I mean, the box is okay. The book is okay. I think the authors really wanted to create something that was substantial. Oh, this one, in Fortune, the T is highlighted, and it looks like a gypsy lady with tarot cards. The Hermit, the E is lighter, and he has some sort of ghosts in his hands, and there's some writing. Strength. And then, so it's traditional suits, swords, and all that. Swords and cups. That's kind of a cool card. If you notice, there is a cartoon quality to it. I mean, and as big as these borders are, they really could have just enlarged the picture. I mean, to be honest, they should have. I think it really takes away from the deck. Here, the C is a different color. I mean, and there's really all the little tiny pieces of symbolism that you come to rely on. It's missing, and maybe the authors didn't really understand the tarot. This one has something on it. It says, "Fire my spirit to will the world, the lovers, the Hierophant." The N is there, the O here, and I'm not sure what that's supposed to mean. Again, the Empress. This one does not have a different colored letter. I believe that some of these letters, if you hold it in a mirror, it says something. Solid tined. Maybe. The High Priestess, which is strange with the water. I don't know if it's a Lady of the Lake or... Really not too much departure from Rider-Waite. Ere my breath to dare. So the aces have that text on them, and there is a symbol there. So yeah, it looks like some of these are backwards. So if you hold it in a mirror, or if you just take your time, you can read it. Whereas some of them are not. Some of them look like I'm not sure. Magician, always an interesting card to look at. The closer examination. I'm not sure what's going on here. He looks like he's sort of flying, sort of being thrown. There's some symbols there. And we have the Fool, which is always the interesting card to look at. We have a hare, or rabbit, instead of a dog. Feather in the Hat, Flower, Feather. Judgment, this reminds me of one of my favorite movies, The Wicker Man, which the original is amazing with Christopher Lee. It's a great movie, and this reminds me of that. There's a Wicker Man there. The sun, this guy looks like he was the fool. The moon, we have the hare, the rabbit with the O. And the size of these is typical tarot. Nothing fancy. The star, I don't know if this is supposed to be Galileo or Newton, but there's some prisms going on, and yeah, it's, look at the edge of that, the way it's cut. If you look, you can see this beige stripe where it's not even cut right. I think you should take more time when you publish a tarot deck. You know, if someone's going to be using this. Yeah, that one has the same thing. The devil. Temperance. I've never heard of the publisher Wiser Books. So if they do any other tarot decks, I will most likely avoid them because this one is so poorly done. If, you know, Lo Scarabeo or A.G. Mueller or U.S. Games actually put these out, they might be a little better. So part of my issue is the actual depiction, and part of it is just quality. It is a usable deck, I think. I'm not sure how well it would wear, but there's another ace, which means we get to play the game of what does it say? Water and blood to keep silent. Death. What a strange card. Not much. Again, look at the bleed here. There is none. It's just beige stripe. Like the whole printing was off. God, we're at the end. That's it. That's the deck, and I'm gonna put it back in its box and probably not touch it again for a long time. In fact, the next person that touches it may not be me, because I'll have gotten rid of it. But it's a deck, and I do have quite a few decks, so I just expected a lot more from this. So part 2 will be the Old English Tarot, which I'll talk about. Thanks for watching.